Here's the question. How does this point to Jesus? How does this point to Jesus? Well, first, we see that Jesus is a creator. For from him and through him and to him are all things. He is creator God. He wasn't the first act of creation, he's creator God. And yet, creator God steps into creation. What other author would step into the page? Can you imagine? Tolkien walking around in The Lord of the Rings. What other master craftsman would enter into their craft? Da Vinci stepping into the Mona Lisa. Can you imagine? Van Gogh stepping into one of his paintings. He would be screaming, okay? Can you imagine? Creator steps into creation. See, at the moment where Jesus comes into creation, over the waters of the womb of Mary, the Spirit of God hovers. A whole new act of creation is taking part. Over the waters of baptism, the Spirit of God comes and hovers to show that the ministry of Jesus, of the kingdom's being inaugurated at his baptism for a whole new act of new creation. And then Jesus, the creator who stepped into creation, as he's on the cross, he breathes out that Spirit of life. He breathes out his Spirit. He breathes out. And he's decreated. He goes into the depths of darkness, of the deep waters that flow from his side, to the desert wilderness of the tomb. The Creator is created, and yet he's decreated because of our sin. And on the third day, God brings him new life. He brings him to life. Jesus rises over death and decreation, breathing then in John's Gospel, after he's breathed out on the cross, once he's obviously had the Spirit of God breathe into him again, he breathes out over his disciples in John's Gospel as walking, breathing little outposts of new creation as they live the kingdom way. And so ultimately that view from the seventh day, that beautiful vision forward, is getting completed when Jesus returns, and at the moment the world is groaning like a woman in labour pains. Has anybody heard their wife groaning in labour pains? That's a sound. It's a sound, all right. The earth is currently groaning like that, awaiting Jesus' return and the experience of new heavens, new earth. This is how this points to Jesus. But how does it change your week? It's not like you've never heard a sermon on Genesis chapter 1 before. How does it change your week? We've talked about 6 balls, but there's 7 days to creation. There had to be a 7th one, didn't there? Ball 7. What they want from their culture for you to get from Genesis chapter 1 is awe. A sense of wow. When you see a sunset, when you see something that God has made, there should be a reverence and awe that our God made that. So let me just conclude by showing you something of the awesome things God has made. Take a look at this picture. That won the Microscopic Picture of 2023 award. It's a close-up of an autumn leaf. Our God made that, right? Our God made this. This is a microscopic image of what happens when things start to crystallize. That's what it looks like under a microscope. Our God made that, right? Our God made this. This is one of the smallest things that he made. It's a bit of plankton in the sea. It's the thing that, those cruising whales go past and go, yonk, that was yum, right? That's what we can see through microscopes. That's what our God made. Our God made this, the whale that eats that plankton. Our God made this. He made the mountain views that you can see and the rivers and the lakes. He made this. Our God made this. It's a tiny little fungi. I know I'm a tiny fun guy, but this is a different type, okay? That's a groaner, that one. He made that. He made this. Waterfalls. Our God made them. Aren't they beautiful? Our God made these kinds of views that you can take a photo of on Instagram and get likes from, okay? He also made this. This is what the Hubble telescope has found out in the universe. Our God made that. Our God made this. It's a nebulous galaxy. Isn't it stunning? And our God made this. and you're on it. And if you want to hear how he made you, come back next week.